wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum and a very good evening to our audience of the show Academic Talk, where we invited knowledgeable academicians to comment and discuss interesting issues that happen in our work. For today, we wanted to focus on the important issue on animal science about how methane mitigation strategies can increase the animal protein supply without raising the greenhouse gas emissions. Today we have invited two well-known panelists to give solutions to our issue, Dr. Syabil from UNK and Mr. Fathiyyuddin from the Kelantan Veterinary Department. I will hand over the microphone to our first panelist, Dr. Syabil, who is an animal science researcher from UMK to give his view regarding this issue.
Okay, Assalamualaikum and good evening. First of all, I would like to thank the organizer of the show and moderator for the invitation and giving the chance to discuss the issue regarding methane mitigation strategies while increasing the supply of animal protein, especially in livestock production. Okay, as a researcher from UMK, our research mostly focuses on improving the feeding formulation and strategies for the livestock in order to enhance the growth and production quality of the livestock. As feed is the major contributor, consisting of 70% from the total livestock production process, it is inevitable that the GHG will be emitted directly from enteric fermentation and manual management, or emitted indirectly from the feed production and the feed processing and conversion of forage into pasture. A report from Food and Agriculture Organization of United Nations (FAO) in 2013 stated that GHG emission along livestock supply chains estimated approximately 14.5% of all human-induced emission. Another study from Haag in 2018 showed that within livestock production, ruminant supply chains are the main contributor to GHG, estimating approximately 80% of the total sector's emission, while non-ruminant, such as swine and poultry, only contribute approximately 9 and 8% respectively towards the sector's emission. Buffaloes and smaller ruminant supply chain have a much lower contribution, representing 8.7% and 6.7% of sector emission respectively. Enteric fermentation and feed production, related activities in ruminant production are the primary sources of GHG emission, representing approximately 39% and 45% of the GHG of the total sector's emission. Enteric fermentation is fermentation that takes place in the digestive system of animals. Especially ruminant animals have a large pore stomach or rumen, within which microbial fermentation break down food into soluble products uh, that can be. Methanogenesis is a process of methane production in the rumen where hydrogen reduces the carbon dioxide with help of methanogenic archaea. Based on this data alone, we can conclude that the GHG emission, especially by ruminant, would require immediate mitigation strategies. Thus, we need to find ways that can reduce methane emission while increasing the animal protein supply in the feed. Methane emission can possibly be reduced up to 75% through better nutrition in feeding, while dietary manipulation is the most commonly practiced method, which can reduce methane emission up to 40% depending the degree of change and the nature of the intervention. Dietary strategies can be divided into two main categories. Firstly, by improving the forage quality and changing the proportion of the diet. Forage quality has influences toward the methane production in the rumen. Young plants can be considered as high quality forage that contains a higher amount of easily fermentable carbohydrates and less neutral detergent fiber, which can alter the fermentation pathway, thus reducing methane production, leading to higher digestibility and passage rate. Compared to more mature forage, it can induce higher methane yield, mainly due to an increase in carbon to nitrogen ratio, which decreases the digestibility. Differences in chemical composition, also due to different type of forage, can also affect methane emission. Legume forage has a lower methane yield, which is explained by the presence of condensed tannins, a lower fiber content, a high diameter intake, and a fast passage rate. Methane emission can also be affected by forest processing and preservation. Chopping and pelleting forage, for instance, can reduce the methane emission per kilogram of dry matter intake, as smaller particles require less degradation in rumen. Methanogenesis tends to be lower in the enzyme forage, presumably because of the enzyme forage are already partially fermented during the enzyme process. Feeding improves the forage quality by feeding young forage with a lower fiber content and a higher soluble carbohydrate content. Thus, supplementing a small amount of grain with forage is a promising mitigation strategy. Second point for dietary strategies is through dietary supplementation of feed additive that either directly inhibit methanogens or altering the metabolic pathways, leading to a reduction of the substrate for methanogenesis. Fat supplementation is the addition of fat to the diet that has been traditionally used to increase the dietary energy content to meet the energy demand of high producing dairy cows. More recently, fat has been used for methane mitigation as the energy supplementation in ruminant diet is changed from carbohydrate to fat. Then less fermentation and methane production will occur. The methane suppressing mechanism of fat is induced by reducing organic matter fermentation, fiber digestibility, and consequently the methanogenic pathway, and by the direct inhibition of methanogens in the rumen via the hydrogenation of unsaturated fatty acid. As fat is not metabolized in the rumen, it does not contribute to methanogenesis. Fat depressed methane emission, thus fat supplementation of the ruminant diet can be said as a persistent mitigation method.
Okay, based on what Dr. Syabil has explained just now, I can agree more with all the points that were well delivered. All the strategies that were mentioned have their own practicality and drawback. With more exposure for the dietary strategies in feeding, this knowledge can be spread all across the nation to be practiced, even by the small farmers, that can help to contribute less methane emission that was caused by livestock production.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Syabil, for the insight sharing regarding the issues of methane mitigation strategies. Based on what has been shared by Dr. Syabil with us, what I can conclude is elements of feeding in livestock production has contributed to methane emission, proven by the data presented by Dr. Syabil based on previous studies. Some of the suggestions that we can take note of are: firstly, to improve the forage quality and changing the proportion of the diet in the animals through the use of high quality forage from young plants compared to mature forage. Second, dietary supplementation of feed additives such as fat supplementation. Thank you once again to Dr. Syabil for the sharing regarding the issue. Now I would like to invite our second panelist, which is Mr. Fathiyyuddin, who is a health officer from Plantain Veterinary Department, to give his view about this issue from the health and reproduction and breeding management.
Okay, Assalamualaikum and good evening. Thank you to the moderator for inviting me to this forum and giving me the opportunity to talk on mitigation strategies. As we all know, the livestock industry is a significant contributor to the green gas emission, specifically methane. However, did you know that breeding and reproduction and also animal health management can play a significant role in reducing this emission while also increasing animal protein production? First, let's talk about genetic selection. By breeding, by selecting for animals that are genetically more efficient in converting feed into proteins, and selecting for traits such as improved feed efficiency and lower methane emission. We can increase protein production while also reducing methane emission. This can be done through the use of genetic markers, DNA sequencing, and genetic selection technique to identify and select the animals that have the desired traits. Secondly, let's discuss on the reproduction management. By implementing a controlled breeding programs, we can increase the number of animals that are producing protein while also reducing the number of animals that are producing methane. This can be achieved by using precision livestock farming technologies to optimize the reproduction management. For example, by using artificial insemination, genetic evaluation, and reproductive biotechnologies. After that, herd management is another important aspect to be considered. By reducing the number of animals in a herd, we can decrease the overall amount of methane produced. This can be done by implementing a controlled breeding programs and culling animals that are not producing enough proteins. Other than that, for animal health, let's talk about disease and parasite control. By implementing good biosecurity measures such as vaccination and quarantine, and also sanitation protocols, we can reduce the incidence of disease and parasite infections, which can in turn improve animal health, increase protein production, and reduce the methane emission. Proper nutrition is also essential for the overall health and productivity of animals. By providing animals with a balanced diet that meets their nutritional needs, we can improve their growth, reproduction, and overall health, which in turn can increase protein production and reduce methane emission. In conclusion, animal health is a crucial aspect that can impact breeding and reproduction management, animal protein production, and methane emission. By implementing good biosecurity measures, proper nutrition, and regular veterinary checks up, we can improve the animal health, increase protein production, and reduce methane emission.
I agree with Mr. Fathiyyuddin, where the health management and the breeding and reproduction management also play a big role in solving the animal protein supply because we can ensure the livestock health and ensure they reproduce effectively.
Thank you, Mr. Fathiyyuddin, for the informative comment on this issue from the health management and breeding and reproduction management. I can conclude that it is important for the farmers to practice selective breeding and control breeding program as we can increase the production volume. So firstly, I would like to ask Dr. Syabil how the changes in the feeding strategy to reduce the methane emission can affect the production in terms of cost and standard operation procedure (SOP) towards small farmers, especially which they might already be accustomed to conventional feeding methods.
Okay, thank you for the question. In my opinion, the changes in feeding strategies are required if we want to mitigate the methane emission. Regarding the production cost and SOP, there should be little to no significance. In fact, it might help to reduce the cost of the production with proper planning compared to conventional feeding methods. When we can increase the protein intake for the animal while mitigating the methane emission, the animal will have better health condition and faster growth rate, thus reducing other production costs. Further assistance from veterinary officers might be necessary for advice regarding the uses of supplementation in order to meet with the SOP guideline. Nevertheless, it just matters of understanding and the willingness of the farmer to accept changes in order to contribute toward better global conditions.
Okay, thank you Dr. Syabil for the answer. Next, there is a question from our viewer to Mr. Fathiuddin. How can we as the common people want to prevent the health issue from spreading?
Okay, thank you for the question. As I mentioned before, regular veterinary checks up can also help to detect and prevent health problems such as parasite disease and other health issues. By catching these issues early, it's possible to treat them before they become serious and to prevent them from affecting the animal's productivity and health.
Such wise solutions were given by both our panels in order to build awareness in our society And with this, I hope our government and also the farmers will take proactive steps to improve the animal protein supply without raising the greenhouse gas emission. That's all from us, and until next time.